People, the Church of Brown is woke. Why woke? When woke is so bad. We hear woke all the time. This is woke. It's bad. It's bad. What are they saying? What is bad? Well, depends what you mean by woke. Woke, for some, is enlightened. It's understanding. It's caring. It's about being more than yourself. About looking around and understanding how you act in the world has consequences. Now, some people take it too far, and the people at the top want it to be all about identity and sexuality and sex and all that sort of stuff. And people have the right to be who they want to be. But making your identity the front of your character rather than being a person, of a multi-dimensional person, I don't think is healthy. It's placing all your eggs in one basket and living your life through that lens of who you are. But at the same time, inclusiveness and togetherness is great. It's great. There's nothing wrong with it. It causes problems, but the problems are better than isolating ourselves and being trapped in our little bubbles. Different people aren't bad. Some of them are. Some of them have all sorts of wonky ideas. But that doesn't mean we can't. We have to fight them. We have to isolate them. We have to put them away. We can correct them. We can talk to them. We can tell them there's better ways if we know better. But most of the time, the problem is we have to take the plank out of our own eye. The problems we look around at don't address the problems we face ourselves. And we first must look within and say, are we right? Are we correct? And that's what most people don't do. Their life is misaligned and wrong, so they've got all this. They externalize it and expect the world to change. And sure, the world needs to change, and it's good to want to change it. I'm not saying that's wrong. But at the end of the day, your happiness and your ability to be at peace is based on how you can live in this world. And it's amazing as humans what we can put up with the right mindset. What we can, and it's good to want change and to enact that change. But if it's making us miserable when we don't have to be, we can do all that stuff and still be happy and not against people and not at war and be at peace with ourselves and not be always righteous and looking at the world through us and them and all that sort of stuff. We can be whole in ourselves but still want better for society and still work on making it better. We can still be happy while bad shit goes on. And we don't have to become ideological to do that. It's just about care. And we can have our own opinions and our own ways of thinking. Because the truth is that we don't know. Everything has value, just some things are more damaging. We should look at the damage. And not the damage just to ourselves, but to others and the world and the environment. And how much damage we're doing. And how that takes away from us as a society and the world from flourishing. And how we're going to flourish in the future. Are we minimising our ability to flourish in the future by the way we're acting now? That's woke. That's woke. It's understanding those things, being complex enough to being able to look at the world in a complex way and not a simple, selfish way, or externalizing everything and saying the problem is them or that, and or seeing the problem for what it really is. And if we look at a lot of the problems we face today, they're ones um, uh, of class, where the real problem is that we've got people in charge who don't care, who don't want to care, who don't want to do the right thing. They want to pretend they're doing the right thing and use PR to do that, while all they want to do is maximise their wealth and power. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy for anyone. It's not healthy for societies. And the non-woke people are the ones that are susceptible to their spreading of misinformation, which they do. Misinformation in some ways is bottom down because people make up stories about what's happening, but they don't get to the truth because a kernel of their knowledge, they're not going from base zero, the first principles or axioms. They're going from what they've been taught through the propaganda model and then layering information on top of that. And that's why you get Trump has a huge range of supporters, because they accept all the propaganda as truth. So what are their only options? Well, the options that those with the power allow, to blame it on those who are different and those who the out group, and make it all about identity and tribe, and which is not healthy, not in a world where we're all living together and we have to get along in some ways and make good decisions as societies. We're not making good decisions because society is not in charge. It's these villainous creatures who see themselves as good, but really are just narrative thinkers. They're just creating a narrative that allows them to be happy with what they want to do to extend their power and wealth. They twist their own frame of reality so they are worthy of their position, and make them and twist that reality to see themselves as what is necessary for the future, and then they sell that narrative to us, and it's not healthy. Woke ideology is not the problem. It's when it's put through a lens of identity politics that is the problem. And I haven't got any problem with the different groups. I think they should live and be part of society and get along and be accepted. And sometimes that's hard because it's never going to be easy. You can't expect people just to accept differences that make them feel uneasy, especially to do with sexual things, because people like to put themselves into slots, and if they feel that that's in any way threatened, they become threatened and push back. So we have to be sensible about these things, and a good way of doing it is not putting identity first, but people first, and just be people rather than this identitarianism, which is probably not a word. Okay, I'll leave it at that today, but I think there's something in there for all of us, don't you?